This is my first hoop greenhouse I've ever made. I didn't really look up directions, so I made a lot of mistakes and learned a lot on the way. I'm going to build another one and show you how I did it, and I hope that it's helpful. Hoop houses are a great addition for your garden. They extend your growing season, protect against harsh weather, and can help improve the quality of your plants. My method for making this hoop greenhouse was pretty simple. It didn't require a lot of tools, and I think I did it on a pretty good budget. I've determined the length of my hula hoop greenhouse is going to be around 9 feet. I'm going to put the last PVC pipe right in this corner for stability, and then I'm going to leave the L shape here open because I'm going to grow stuff up these, some peas or some pole beans. We'll see. So if I look at this corner, it's about 104, maybe off 1/8 of an inch, but I'm not too worried about that. So I'm going to call it 104 because I'm about to do some dividing. This front one, I'm going to call it 5. It's like 5 1/4, but that's fine. I'm going to subtract 5 from 104. That's 99. And then I'm dividing 99 by 3. And every 33 inches, I'm going to have a PVC pipe that goes up and around. All right, so I'm marking every 33 inches. There's 33. I'm gonna have 2 PVC pipes at each end of the planter here. And then I've marked my 2 other lines at 33 and 66, and that's where the 2 middle PVC pipe hoops are going to go. I'm digging out a hole. I don't need to go too deep into the ground, just enough to get the PVC pipe down up against the board at the level that I want it. I dug the rest of the holes for my hoops and used a hoe as a straight edge to make sure they were lined up correctly. Now it's time to install the hoops. It's pretty simple. I'm using 10-foot long PVC pipe. It's a 1/2 inch. If you buy more than 8, usually wherever you're at, you'll get a bulk discount. So I would suggest that if you're building more than one of these hoop houses. I'm not going to cut them because it works out with the width that the hoop is fine. It's not too hoopy. When I did my first hoop house, I figured out it's good to get a little bend going with the pipe first. I didn't snap any of my PVC pipes, but it just seemed like a pretty good method and worked really well for me. So I'm kind of bending the pipe here, as you can see, and I'm just going to put it in place, and I'm slowly working it into not exactly where I want it, but to give me an idea, and from here I can figure it out. So there we go. I got my first hoop in. So with my test run, you can kind of see the hoop is a little off. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of get it to where I want it, because that usually means it's high on one side. Let's see, that looks about right. How does that look? That looks better. I'm pretty good with that. Again, perfection is not necessary, but I like a clean look, and I think that's going to be pretty darn good. Now that I have the hoop where I want it, I'm just going to measure the distance from the bottom of the pipe to the top of this, and it's about 4.5 inches. That'll be good. And the reason I'm doing that is now as I go down the line, I'm going to know exactly how tall I want it. To connect the PVC pipe to the garden bed wood frame, I'm going to drill a couple pilot holes through the PVC pipe. Then I'm going to take some screws and go into the wood. That works just fine in my opinion, but if you want to, you can go grab a couple of these and use those. These aren't the right size, but you get the drift. These are like little pipe connectors that'll really hold it in place that way. Double checking is important. Am I at 4.5? Yeah, I am right close to that. I think that's gonna be a good spot right there. As soon as I feel the bit go through the other side of the pipe, I stop because I want the rest of the screw to sink into the wood. And if I go too far with the bit into the wood, the screw is not going to really lock in there. I'm always gardening on a budget. So I have these old screws that I took out of fence boards that I recycled and ended up turning into garden beds. And I'm gonna do the top one first, lock it in here. I'm not gonna go all the way in. And I'll show you why in a second. The reason I don't screw it all the way in is because I wanna be able to get it as straight as possible. So I can kind of adjust it. That looks straight up and down, and I'm pretty happy with that. All right, here we go. This one I'm gonna lock in. Okay, that one's locked. This one, yep. And that is not going anywhere. So as long as your screw can penetrate the garden bed box about a 1/2 inch, that should be fine. This screw right here, if I measure it, is a 2-incher. So that's more than enough to go through this pipe, which is a 1/2 inch, and then into here, quite a bit, 1.5 inches. That's pretty good. So now I'm gonna repeat that process on every side of every pole. I've got all the hoops in place where I want them, and now I'm going to fill in the holes with dirt, and that's nice because it's gonna give it an extra layer of support so that these don't blow over in the wind. I've got my greenhouse material laid out here, and the tools that I'm going to need, just some household scissors. I'm using a staple gun and measuring tape. Now, yesterday I totally messed up on this part, so I'm gonna save you some time because I spent way too much time blowing it. When I was rolling this plastic onto this 2x2 that I'm using, I did not cut a straight line at all, and it was very windy and it was sloppy, and that cost me yesterday. It made things way harder than they needed to be. You want to start with straight edges. Straight edges. Do not cut it crooked. You will regret. You will regret if you cut it crooked. And you have to do this. Walk right on it. How's that feel? Hey bud, how you doing? Did you come out and check on me? You want to supervise? How you doing? Andy's a garden dog. He needs a bath. He gets a bath very frequently because he's just constantly following me in the garden. What's pretty easy to understand that I figured out yesterday is the length that I need to cover my hoop greenhouse. Since the PVC pipes were 10 feet long, I didn't cut them, it would make sense to make it 10 feet long to cover the pipe. And that gives me buffer because, again, the PVC went 4.5 inches down on each side, which is a total of 9 extra inches that I will have if I cut it at 10 feet. I'm gonna cut it at maybe a little over 11 feet because I like to, also something that I figured out yesterday that is very helpful is I roll over the plastic a couple times onto the 2x2 and then staple it on. And by doing that, I really solidify the connection between my greenhouse material and the 2x2, which is really good because, again, it gets windy in my backyard and I don't want this thing taken off on me. This 2x2's a little old. It's reclaimed, so it's not exactly straight, but it's gonna be straight enough for what I am doing. I'm gonna just kind of put this plastic right on top, and I'm gonna line it up as best I can. Again, trying to go as straight as I can. If it's not perfect, it's still going to look fine. I wanna promise you it'll look good. It'll look good. I'm going to start stapling. Lining that up on the corner, on the edge, so I know that it is square. I'm gonna put a couple staples right here on the end for solidification. Now, I like to change the direction a little bit. That gives me a better hold in case it gets too much tension to rip off. I'm just gonna go every, I don't know, 6 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches, your preference. Again, same process here. Line it up, staple, staple, staple. If you're dealing with wind, put a little weight down, because right now I'm gonna pick this up and I'm gonna roll it up a few times. And I wanna get a nice tight roll here. 4 or 5 rolls there. And now I'm gonna staple. Oh shoot, where'd that go? Uh-oh. Every 6 inches, or 4 or 5, or however many staples you want to use. This might be a little overkill, but fine with me. Before I cover my hoops, I'm going to put 1 PVC pipe that I've cut to length here down the middle here, because that's gonna add some additional stability. I'm just going to zip tie. That worked great on the other one. It's gonna work fine on this one. But just kind of like when I was screwing it in, I start loose with the zip ties so that I can get the support PVC pipe into place before I really tighten things down. One thing you're gonna wanna do is turn this down. And the reason you do that is so it doesn't hang up on your greenhouse paper. I want to point out I left some inches here sticking out. I think it's good to have a little extra length for the stability. All right, my hoop house structure is good. It's very stable. It's going to be wind resistant. And now it's time to cover this bad boy up. Because I got this bush over here, I like to start on this side so I can just get that set in, not have to get back in there. Trying to work smarter, not harder. This is copper wire that I use for snails, but once it becomes oxidized, they go right over it. So I'm gonna make a video on how to get rid of snails. If you wanna subscribe, you'll like it, I promise. All right, I like the way it's looking. To make it easy, and I'm running out of time, I'm gonna screw it in to get it ready. It's pretty easy to take this cover off when it rains or when I put my shade cloth on when it starts to get 90 degrees and above. Eventually I'll put a latch on here, but for now, for ease, and I'm running out of daylight and it's windy, I'm gonna go ahead and just drill into this. Get a little pre-drill going there. I chose obviously a longer screw. I think this is about 3 inches or 2.5 inches, something like that. Go right in there. All right, we're solidified all along that side with the screws. Just 2 did it, 1 in the front, 1 in the back. That's more than enough. And I don't want to put too many in because what makes it easy to take out is it only needs 2 screws. This is gonna have a lot of extra, but that's fine with me. I'd rather have extra than less. Just for this last one, I'm gonna roll it from the inside. Get it nice and tight. Tighter the better, because again, that wind, man, it's no joke. Yep. I'm gonna put one down in the middle. I didn't have to do it on this side, but since I'm pulling this one down real good, it makes sense. I left a lot of extra material here on the outside because it's always good to have more in case you come up short, but I like having a clean look at the same time. So I'm going to show you how to tuck this in and get a clean look. To help make things easier, I'm gonna put a little hole right here, pretty tough material, and then I'm gonna go down the pipe there. Again, I left this pipe just to have a little excess. It helps with the stability of the hoop house. So once I have this pressed up against there, I can start to tuck it in. I got some white duct tape that's pretty cheap, just about any home improvement store. And I'm going to roll this up and connect it to give it my clean look. And the white tape is obviously the same shade as my PVC pipe, so it's gonna look pretty darn good. Always a good idea to get some tape ready, because once you tuck it in, it's probably gonna wanna come out, and you don't need too many strips. And then I'm gonna start tucking from the front. And once I have the tuck where I want it, I take my tape, I connect it to the outside or the inside, you know, if you don't want to see it like that. And then I tape up the inside like that. And so it's white tape, so it doesn't look bad and it's not really affecting the sun coming through. And I'm just gonna go up and down these edges and get it all squared away. My hoop house is done and I couldn't be happier. As you can see, I've already filled it with tons of plants because I'm doing a plant sale, and I'm planting more vegetables this year than I've ever done before.